Oh boy, there's something special about the crown. I don't know what it is about this box. I don't know what it is about this brand, but for some reason this box and this brand really turns a lot of heads. It's just a cheap plastic box in a pretty nice shade of green. The watches inside aren't the world's best, but they are pretty nice. And this watch is no exception. Welcome to another episode of Pocketwatch Time. My name is Patrick W. Now that I've got your attention, let's see how this pocket watch really made it to me. It came packaged in a FedEx envelope all the way from Argentina. I truly think this is my first South American pocket watch purchase. And I thank the couriers at FedEx for taking such good care of the package. Even though at this point, I'm surprised customs didn't think that this was something else. And also some thanks to the seller and the shipper for packing this watch up in so many layers of bubble wrap, it took me almost a minute to get it all undone. And there it is, my first Rolex pocket watch. So you might be asking yourself, so why did you buy a Rolex pocket watch? Don't you usually collect American pocket watches? And the answer is, you're absolutely correct. What caught my eye particularly about this pocket watch is that it's actually targeted to the American railroad market. I believe at some point in this pocket watch's lifetime, the dial has been refinished, the original case has been removed, and I dare say those are not original hands. This watch was put together to make it look like it's a railroad pocket watch, and I think that's kind of cool. The other thing about this watch that caught my attention, Rolex makes a bunch of different movements. To be fair, Rolex actually doesn't make any of these movements. They use Bausch movements and they finish them. And they finish them to different standards. To be honest, most Rolex pocket watches look kind of crappy. Nothing really interesting about them. Just plain pocket watches that have a little mark somewhere on them that says Rolex. But not this movement. This is one of the fancier Rolex pocket watch movements I've ever seen. Not only does it have 17 jewels, more than the 15 jewel standard of Rolex pocket watches. Not only is it timed in 6 positions instead of the regular 3, or the very standard just adjusted, but it doesn't tell you in how many positions. This watch has bright ruby jewels and beautiful finger bridges. It even has the designation of Chronometer on the plate. I've never seen that written anywhere before. And if that wasn't enough, it even has a highly accurate regulator. All that combined was enough to push me over the edge to buy myself a Rolex pocket watch. So let's wind up the watch and see it in action. The winding action sounds great, and as you can see, the amplitude of the balance is wonderful. Just like the Rolex counterparts of today, this watch runs tough and hopefully runs accurate. I'll have to time it later. A big difference you can see on this watch compared to the American standards. There's not much adornment to the base plates. If this was an American pocket watch, there would be damascening all over the place, and the internals of this watch would look very ornate. Don't get me wrong, I think this watch is very beautiful, but the plates are very plain. But even though the ornamentation is simple, the design is pretty spectacular. This watch comes in a base metal case, which pretty much has a chrome plating, which was called back then Snow White. As you can tell from the pretty bright luster of the case, Snow White because it's pretty darn white. I'm not exactly sure about this watch's sizing, but I might remove it from this case and try to put it into an exhibition case. Exhibition or salesman's cases are my favorite. That way you can see the beauty of the front and you can see the beauty of the back all at the same time. As you can see here on the dial, the hands move well. These are standard railroad type hands. The dial marking says Rolex, Chronometer, and 25 world's record. Given these markings, I can estimate this pocket watch comes from the 1930s. You might also be able to tell where the dial has been refinished. This dial looks like it's a double sunk dial, which means that it's got 2 layers, but it's actually a single sunk. The center of the main dial and the second dial looks like it has the original patina of the original dial. The area that contains the large Arabic numerals, similar to a railroad case, well, that's been added on at some point. Am I mad that the dial isn't original? Not really. I like the railroad theme on this watch, particularly since it's a chronometer grade. Does it give me a project to hunt for maybe a more original dial? Sure. As any pocket watch collector will tell you, the hunt for missing pieces, or for more original pieces, to an antique pocket watch, well, that's half the fun. So maybe I'll keep this watch as a railroad watch, or maybe someday I'll find the missing dial and turn this watch back into its original configuration. But before we end this video, hey, let's take one more peek at that beautiful movement. It's not every day you see a Rolex chronometer movement in a pocket watch, and it's not every day a Swiss-made pocket watch finds itself in Argentina and then finds itself back to the United States. This watch is almost 100 years old and has been around the world, and it doesn't look any worse for wear. It looks fantastic. So I hope you enjoyed this beautiful view of a Rolex chronometer pocket watch. Don't you worry. If I find an original dial, or if I find out that this watch is compatible with a good salesman case, I'll take you along for the journey, and we can restore this beautiful pocket watch to either its original condition, or we can just turn it into something really special. Thanks again for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. And of course, if you haven't liked the video, subscribed to the channel, or left a comment, please do. All those small steps help advertise these videos and help this channel grow. Thanks, I appreciate it. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe to Pocket Watch Time.
Pocket Watch Time.
I have lots of reviews on watches and on pocket watches. If you've got any questions or comments, please leave them below. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.